So, a man has gone viral recently on TikTok because he believes that someone is time traveling through his shed, and it could possibly be Stephen King or this other guy who I don't know who it is. Of course, it's happening in Florida. Don't get me wrong, I love Florida. It's my second home, but no one's time traveling through your shed, or are they? So I I saw this a few weeks back, and I even sent this to Hannah the Horrible. If you haven't watched her content on YouTube, you absolutely have to. And I was like, if anyone can debunk this, it's you. And no, actually, I'll tell you a really good point she brought up as well. So a guy called Alex Shall, I want to say, didn't make this kind of content before. His content was kind of like, I don't even know what it is. Like, I should probably look. His content before, not to be rude, seems kind of like mismatch. Like, how many deals should you do? I don't know what it's talking about. Oh, I think it's talking about houses and stuff like that. And it's very boring. It's very boring. And he didn't really have many followers before. He has gone from, well, when I screenshot this, which was a few weeks ago, he had 95.9 thousand followers, and now he has 144.3, which isn't that much on TikTok. It's a big number, but on TikTok, not really. Considering some of his videos have like 4 million, 2 million, you know what I mean? TikTok isn't that friendly in that sense. So let's just watch this play out. So he has an Airbnb in Florida that he has like a Ring camera in the back, one on the front, and he has people maintain it, like cleaners, housekeepers, everything like that. Yes.
This dude's coming onto my property to what looks like rob my house, but it actually turns out he is a time traveler. Let me
now, so straight away, like, how the hell is someone coming to your house to, you know, going to rob you? Oh no, actually, he's just a time traveler. It's like quite the assumption, you know?
my mind. This just happened yesterday. So as you can see, he's wandering around my backyard. I don't know what he's trying to do. Now he's like thinking like where to go, and he actually ends up going into my shed. So you can see he opens it, goes into the shed. So I'm fast forwarding the time so you can see there's no movement. He never leaves the shed. And I'm talking on the camera. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Why are you in my shed? Never answers. He never leaves the shed. I literally was watching it the whole time. So I end up calling the police. You could see in the last one, the police coming through the front yard. And then here's the police coming into the backyard. And you can see they literally go inside. They go inside and I'm talking to them. Then they go inside again. Like they're inside there. And they come out and he's not there. And like I've been watching this backdoor camera the whole entire time and he never left. I really watched the camera the whole time. He never left. Police didn't see him in there. And like it blows my mind. Like I don't know if there's a tunnel in my shed in the backyard. I don't know if he teleported. I don't know where this guy went or why he went in that shed. Let me know what you think because I'm like perplexed. Flabbergasted.
So when the guy goes missing into the shed, it isn't like, you know, there's a little flap he can get out of. Maybe the camera glitched and he missed him leaving. He goes to instantly. Maybe there's a portal.
The full video of what this guy does before going into my shed and disappearing and teleporting, whatever. So this is the full video with sound. So you hear if he talks. He does talk at some point here. I've watched this so many times to see. But you can see him like wandering around. Like he throws up his arms. He's about to talk. See, he talks right there. He says, damn. Like, what is he looking for? Like, he's being...
Somewhere to go for a poo or a wee, I feel.
Super mysterious. And then he goes into the shed. So he's wandering around, then goes into the shed, and closes the door there. So just for reference, this is what my backyard looks like. It is an Airbnb. I live 5 hours away. I can't go there and give you guys a tour of the shed, but I will be there in about a week. So I will do it then, but there's no windows. There's only one door and the door latches on the outside. So there's only one way to keep the door closed. So a lot of people were commenting saying, you know, the door opened again. Why is the door moving? And that's because the wind is moving the door and it's been very windy in Florida.
Then this kind of theory came up that this person looks like him. And they're like, wow, maybe that's you time traveling. I personally don't think it looks like him in any way at all. The time traveler looks kind of like Australian. And this guy doesn't look Australian. So, and they also have different skin tones. Okay, now this is where the time travel aspect comes in, right? Because, well, actually, no, he thought it was a time traveler already just because he didn't see him come out of that shed. It's a camera glitch. I have a Ring camera and, you know, left the front of my house before and the camera's completely missed my car moving. If it's going to miss your car driving across the front of your house, it can miss somebody just slipping out of a shed after they've had a shit in there.
I have an update regarding the time traveler that went into my shed and disappeared. And this is gonna blow a lot of people's minds. And if you're still denying that this is real at this point, this is gonna change your mind. So just a quick recap. This guy walks around my backyard, goes to my shed, opens the door, goes inside, and disappears. Called the cops came, they went in the shed twice. He wasn't in there. They looked. I looked like an insane guy. The cops were like, what is this guy smoking? And you can see he never came back until the next day right here. Notification on my camera that there's somebody in my backyard and this guy leaves my shed. And he looks right at the camera too. That guy left my shed. But here's the craziest part. This looks like the same guy, maybe, glasses, whatever. Let's look at the other guy. This was the other guy.
Okay, I give him, they do look very, very similar. They have a very same jawbone and mouth kind of area. The hairline's slightly off though.
He noticeably aged. Looks like the same guy, but aged. So him again, and now him. Same facial features, whiter hair. So I don't even know what to think at this point. Somebody explain this. I don't know, something's going on. Somebody explain what's going on in my shed. I'll be going there in about a week to give a tour, since a lot of people are asking. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, I don't even know what to think. Did he time travel? Is this a different person? Who is this new guy? Is it the same guy? Let me know what you think, because this blew my mind.
Okay, so it's my theory so far that they know this house isn't occupied all the time. People in the local area, maybe this guy had seen it happen a lot before. He was like, this is really annoying. And then maybe he kind of like thought, oh, maybe I can make a thing of this. And it's just capturing the right moments, the right time, the right people. It's Florida. People might just be walking in and out, you know? Maybe they're thieves looking for tools in sheds, because tools sell for a lot of money. Instead, we have a guy thinking that, you know, everyone is time traveling through his poorly made shed. Okay, and then, okay, so obviously there's people out there who are skeptical and some people that really believe it for some reason. And then we have this guy who kind of took the piss out of him before, but now is getting in on the conspiracy a little bit, which baffles me because now I'm thinking, you know what? They know it's getting the views.
I know I'm the crazy conspiracy guy. I get it. I'm going to try and keep it together for this one. I think we might have found it. I think we might have found the time travel. And if you haven't seen this video yet, this guy down here goes into a shed and disappears. And then the next day, this guy walks out of the shed. When I first saw this video, I thought it was just fake. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was some sort of skit. So much so that I stitched it with like a silly little I'm a time traveler thing. But I've gone through it and I can't figure it out.
Can I just say, the evidence isn't that baffling at the moment. We've seen one person go into his shed and not come out. Possible camera glitch, right? We've seen another person just walk out of the shed. But you can be like, yeah, no, there was no video footage of him walking in. We don't know that. There's no hardcore evidence. So this guy, who I believe his whole deal is like looking into conspiracy theories and things like that, it's not that difficult to figure out.
Is a hoax. It's done well. But I also kind of think it's possible that there's a
Sorry, but I don't think not... Okay, so here's the situation, right? If I was like, someone went into my shed, I was like, oh, someone just walked out of my shed and they didn't walk in. Are you just going to take my word for it? Or are you going to ask to see the full day's camera footage? You know what I mean? Like, you're not just going to be like, I can't figure it out then. If that's what you say, I can't figure it out. Could there be a portal in this person's shed?
In the guy's shed. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but have you seen the show 11/22/63?
No, but I want to watch it.
Go in this closet, take a look around, then I'll tell you everything.
I always liked that show, but it always bothered me that the time portal was in a pantry in a diner.
So we had this show in the UK called Good Night Sweetheart, right? Where the guy owned an antique shop and there was a portal back to, I think it was the Second World War. The portal was just out the back and he'll just walk through a wall. It's very much that concept.
Wouldn't they have figured that out when they built the pantry? But I guess like they're maybe, I don't know, but it's like the same principle as what happened to the gentleman in the shed. Like,
not really. Not really. One of them is a TV show. The other one is on a Ring camera.
he went in as like what, mid to late 20s, came out early to mid 60s.
Again, we haven't seen the first guy's face as close up as the second guy. This is just some white man that look kind of, they both have glasses. The hairline's different.
So he might have spent 40 years in there, like, well, in the past, and he's wearing modern clothes, so he could have brought, like, his backpack could have had a change of clothes in it for when he came back to the future. But what did he change? Because let's say he went back to 1960, spent 40 years, then he would
Why would he go back to 19... Where's this coming from?
back in 2000, like come back to 2024 in 2000. But I'm convinced that it's the same guy, because unless they're just really closely related, they have the same walk, the same mannerisms, the same facial structure. I don't know. I think it's pretty.
I do, yeah, this jaw is very, very similar. But if we look at his hairline, from his brow bone to the end here, it kind of dips up here. It's a different hairline, unless he grew hair here. I think, to me, that's a different person.
So if he's from this timeline, if he comes back to 2024, somebody's got to recognize him. Like, I mean, it's not the clearest picture, but somebody has to know who he is. But we also have to start looking in the past. Like, he couldn't have left no footprint.
Yeah, but if he's time traveling, who's saying he's going back in time? What if he's going to the future and then, because it's from the future, and then he's coming back when he's older? Like, if we're just saying things, why not that? Okay, so this is the person they think the time traveler is. Listen, when I say, I don't mean this in a rude way, but a lot of old men do just look the same.
If you have a machine that makes gravity, you could pretty much do anything. You can affect time, you can have force fields, all of that stuff that's in science fiction becomes reality. And what we worked on in the desert was a machine that makes gravity.
It's not him. No, it doesn't look like him at all. Different mouth. That's not him. That's a different mouth. Doesn't look like him. People are really clutching at straws here. Huge news about the time traveler. They found him.
You still don't believe the story about the time traveler that went into my shed, disappeared, and then came back in the future? This video is going to change your mind. There's so much evidence supporting this theory. This guy named Matty Ice, he's been looking into
There's not so much evidence, though.
this a lot.
This is the thing. He's just saying stuff, and then people are agreeing with him. And then there's like, so much evidence. So much evidence.
Funny because he actually made a skit on part 1, kind of like making fun of me, but now he's come around to actually looking into this because this is real. So he's been looking into this story and he found some crazy evidence. To start this off, I don't support reaching out to anybody's families or anything like that. This is all speculative, but evidence kind of makes sense. So what he did is he did a reverse.
The guy in the picture, his hair is further back. And it comes in more here. This is a different man.
Search, and he found this guy who looks pretty similar to our boy here. Crazy part is this guy was obsessed with time travel. And you can see 9 years ago, he used to post on blogs talking about time travel and how it works. So he graduated from Harvard University, which is, you know, obviously impressive. So this guy knew his stuff. He was obsessed with time travel and he looks like our guy. So it's like, okay, it's probably him then, right? This guy died in 2018, 6 years ago, which, by the way, how was 2018 6 years ago? That's crazy in its own. But 6 years ago, this guy died. But he looks the same, and he was obsessed with time travel. We also found this, which is family members saying they miss him and that they, you know, love him and stuff like that in November 2018. We also found this, which is the same thing talking about his death, July of 2017. So This one also says he died in July of 2018, but then they posted in 2017. It's possible that they edited this text to, give him a shout out how he passed away. Maybe this picture was posted beforehand, but still a little fishy, right? There's a lot of coincidences. This guy looks the same. He was obsessed with time travel. He died. Somebody commented about his death a year before it happened, mentioned that maybe the body wasn't found. I don't know how accurate that part is, but coincidences going back to this guy who looks like our time traveler. So yeah, pretty crazy. I definitely urge you not to reach out to this guy's family. They probably don't want to talk about this. I know if I had a family member pass away, I wouldn't want somebody calling me about this. But yeah, pretty interesting. Tag me if you guys find any more info on this.
Can't figure out the date thing, but I'm sure there's a reason. I personally don't think that's the same guy. Maybe, it does look like him, but I don't think it's exactly the same person. Again, none of that's evidence. Also, if you're going to say don't reach out to his family and stuff like that, when you know you're getting millions of views, maybe don't post him. Where does a time traveler go after leaving? So I'm just going to scan through this one. The time traveler leaves. He goes through a front gate, which is left open from the cleaners. He goes over to this car and looks in the window, right? And then just walks away. Now, a few seconds later, this car that he was in the window starts to turn around and follow him. Also, you can see a gas station up in that corner. This could be a drug deal happening, and the guy has gone out the back, perhaps has come out to the car and be like, just so you know, there's a camera out the front here and there's a camera at the back. We can't do anything here. Let's go this way. And he just follows him down this way for some drugs. Okay, get ready for this one.
Just when you thought this story was crazy, it gets even crazier. This next discovery just has way too many coincidences. I don't even know how this is possible at this point. There's just so many coincidences with this story. In case you don't remember, this guy was a Harvard professor that was obsessed with time travel. He was interviewed about time travel. He posted online about time travel, and he looks exactly like our guy. He died in 2018, so might not be our guy, but this next story is insane. Check this out. Stephen King. You probably know him. He's a well-known author. He's known as the king of horror books. He's very well known. He does eerily resemble a time traveler. As you can see here.
They're just all old men that look the same because they have balding heads and the fat is gone from their faces,
That's not what this is about. Stephen King is the author of this book called Fairy Tale. He wrote just 2 years ago, so it's very recent. But what this book is about is gonna blow your mind. It's insane. This is a quick disclaimer. I never read this book prior to, making these videos. I don't really read that much. And if I do read, it's more educational or real estate books. It's not about fantasy novels or horror. I hate horror. Long story short, what this book is about is there's an older guy. He has a shed in his backyard. And the shed has a staircase in it that leads to another realm with a fountain of youth. This is just a quick little snippet. Before his demise, he reveals that he is 120 years old and mentioned a gateway to another realm located in his shed. What? Stephen King wrote this 2 years ago. I had never seen this book before. Probably never would have if it wasn't for this incident. So this is insane. Just to answer the most common question I get, when am I going to the shed? I will be going this upcoming weekend. So I'll be, making videos about it. I'm also going to be doing a 24-hour live stream in the shed. So follow and you'll get info on that and how to watch them. There are many films that have shed-based related things. Now, everyone was saying, oh, yeah, but there's a time traveler. It's just a gateway in the shed. That's because it's the least expecting things ever. There are loads of movies where in the garage, in the shed, in the attic, in the basement, there are portals to other places. You know why? Because they're a little bit creepy sometimes and it's unexpected. What if there was some kind of portal in this shed, right? The first guy wouldn't be walking around the first time he walked in. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Where do I go? You know what I mean? He'll be like, oh, that shed. So he has gone and put a camera in the shed. It'll be very interesting to see what we see from here. I'm gonna put this right here. And I'll show the recording of it so you can see what it will record. And actually, let's put it kind of hidden.
Oh, it's got a light on it, so it's gonna be lit up.
Over here.
It's not really hidden. If you walk in and turn around, it's going to be there. But if you want to catch something, don't let them know there's a camera there. So he does do a kind of tour off the shed and shows that there isn't really any way you can kind of slip out in any way. But, you know, it would be my theory as a professional watcher of things, but there's no time traveling. It'll be interesting to see if anything is caught on camera. Maybe we can do a little update, but this man knows that's not the case, and he's just trying to get the views, which good for him. I love the story. I do love the story. It's a good what's it called, RPG, whatever they call them online. One thing I did mention at the beginning is that when I mentioned this to Hannah, she did say this guy owns an Airbnb. Maybe people want to stay at the time traveling shed Airbnb, you know? Could be a sales pitch, and it's done quite well. No one seems to care that much because they watch the videos but they don't follow him. But yes, okay, let me know your opinions down below. Are you a time traveler? Can you put some light on this? Thanks for joining me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.